Welcome, fellow explorers, as we embark on a journey of discovery. This season takes us into the realm of first Relic Recovery. We may not encounter the obstacles of past seasons 3, such as whirling vortexes, steep mountains, or cascading debris. But robots beware, penalties are more than just myths. As you protect all your relics, solve complex ciphers, and score many glyphs, let's journal our adventures from today, from the very start. Most important of all, let's keep gracious professionalism at heart.
First Tech Challenge Oregon, this is Relic Recovery.
My name is Nick Thomas, and I work at Google. I'm also an MC and game announcer at the First Tech Challenge World Championship and West Super Regional. And I am super excited about this year's game, Relic Recovery. Now, we've seen the kickoff video, we can see the field right here, but I don't know about you, I want to know a little bit more. So, let's bring in an expert. You look ready for an adventure, but you don't look ready for a robotics competition. Let's fix that. That's more like it.
Wait, you're not Kathy?
Don't worry about that. Let's talk about the game. So, please welcome your head referee, Aaron Curl.
As Nick said, I'm your head championship ref for the state of Oregon. I've been doing this for about 9 years, and I just finished my 11-year work anniversary at Intel, so I have lots of experience in both the ref realm and the technical side of things. I just wanted to spend time with you guys here today at kickoff. We saw the game animation. We want to know some more about what's specified in Game Manual Part 2 and get a more in-depth look at first Relic Recovery. This video is not a shortcut to reading the forum or the game manual. If you are new to First Tech Challenge, you might be wondering what the forum is. It's just a place where students like yourself can post questions and you'll get answers from the official game design committee. And referees keep up to date on that as well. So that's the best place to post any of your questions. As always, the precedence from First Tech Challenge goes from the forum to the game manuals to any videos officially produced. Second thing that you want to remember, besides always reading the rules, is before each event you go to, you want to run down that inspection checklist that's in Game Manual Part 1, and we want to make sure that you're able to pass the inspection at each event you go to, so it's a great prep thing to do the day before or several days before each event you're going to for First Tech Challenge. As you saw in the game animation video, there are still 3 periods this year. We have the autonomous period, the driver control period, and the end game. There are many various ways to score throughout all of the game, and this year we're looking at scoring glyphs into crypto boxes, which are on the far side of the field. We're also looking at transferring relics into the recovery zone, which is off-field, very unique. We're also looking at retrieving jewels according to your alliance color. Pre-match setup, as teams approach the field and get ready for their match, we're going to actually have them set their robots on the balancing stone and be balanced. Balanced? Unbalanced. If for some reason your robot cannot be balanced, you actually are still allowed to play the game, you just can't score any autonomous points. And you are also required to pre-position and preload 1 glyph per robot. A preload just counts as touching, or you can actually put it on the robot. After the drive teams are set up and ready to go, field personnel are going to randomize the jewels and pictographs according to a dice roll. When everybody's set and everything's randomized, we're going to start the autonomous period, which is still 30 seconds this year. This is where robots are operating just using the pre-programmed instructions on their driver station. This year, the driver station is required to be in a hands-off location throughout the autonomous period, so that it is evident that it is just pre-programmed instructions going on during autonomous period. The only exception to this is to allow you to push go. And you'll notice that this year you don't get to push stop. The goal is that everyone uses their drive station Android device with a built-in 30-second timer. Okay, what do you do once autonomous starts? Your goal is to select and remove opponent-colored jewels. Basically, you get 30 points for platforms with a single jewel remaining on them for the corresponding alliance. So if you remove the wrong color jewel, you might get the opposing alliance points. The other thing you can be doing is scoring glyphs into crypto boxes. So again, these cubes, you get to score in your own crypto boxes. The crypto boxes are on your side of the field, and you're just aiming to take these glyphs and drop them in the crypto boxes. You actually get 15 points for each glyph that is scored into your alliance-specific crypto box, regardless of the location of the glyph, and regardless of how it got there. And then, if you want, you can earn an additional 30 points if you want to start solving the cipher. So basically, the first glyph that's scored into the crypto box that is placed in the correct crypto box key orientation will get a 30 additional points. The score is awarded to the alliance corresponding to the crypto box's color, so again, however it got there. At the end of the period, when everything comes to rest, you can park your robot in the safe zone, which is the little triangle in front of your crypto box. And you'll notice it doesn't say completely in right now, it just says in, so you just have a little bit to go. After the autonomous period comes to an end, the rest will do a scoring based on where things came to rest, and robots will remain in a hands-off state. Red alert, red alert! This is totally different than past seasons. No field personnel nor team members are allowed to touch the robots in between autonomous period and driver controlled period. So you need to minimize your risk between those two periods so that you can still participate in driver controlled period. When instructed, the teams will be allowed to select their driver controlled off mode on their driver station, and they will be able to trigger the initialization and be ready to hit go on the driver controlled period. Next up, we have driver control period, which is still a 2-minute period where the last 30 seconds will be endgame. Again, no pause between these two. The driver control period, you'll start by trying to score glyphs into your alliance's crypto boxes, so similar to autonomous period. You'll put the glyphs into your crypto boxes, and you get points based on what you're doing. So it's 2 points for each glyph scored. But if you want more points, you need to be trying to create the cipher and solve that complex problem of getting the patterns of the glyphs in the crypto box to match the randomized cipher from the beginning of the game. And there are examples of this in Game Manual Part 2 of what the ciphers will look like. So it's 10 points for each row of completed glyphs. A glyph row is just a box in each column that matches. And then it's 20 points for each completed column of glyphs, which is 4. So we have a 3x4 crypto box that you're working with. Now, additionally, it's 30 points for each completed cipher. And all of these points are cumulative. So you get the 2 points for putting it into the crypto box. You could get another 10 points because it helped complete a row. You could get another 20 points because it helped complete a column. And then you could get another 30 points if you helped complete a cipher. And for a cipher, all 12, again, we're in a 3x4 matrix here, the individual glyphs have to be in proper alignment. So let's review the options of cipher versus rows versus columns. A row is just made up of 3 glyphs in any arrangement in your crypto box. A column is made up of 4 glyphs in any arrangement in your crypto box. There are very good examples in the Game Manual Part 2 appendix about how they can be stacked and how certain lines might be crossed, so take a look at those. Now, a cipher is when you solve all 12 glyphs in your crypto box matches one cipher. Now, why would you want to do that? Because it allows you to start one of the in-game scoring items early. You'll actually be able to take your relic and put it into the recovery zone prior to endgame starting. Now, how do you know that you solved this and that the refs agree? The refs are going to alert you that you unlocked that ability, and you'll be able to start that early, and it's per cipher. So you only get 1 relic per cipher that you solved. If somehow you happen to do 2 ciphers in the 2 minutes of driver controlled, you could really up your points. The final 30 seconds of driver controlled or endgame, again, there's no pause between that. The timer will just tell you that it's endgame. Your goal during endgame is to actually recover your relics and put them into the various recovery zones. The zones are marked on the maps. We have zone 1, that's 10 points, zone 2, that's 20 points, and zone 3, that's 40 points. Relics may only earn points for 1 zone at a time, so refs are going to evaluate which zones they are in and then give you points for the maximum zone. Additional 15 points for each relic if you can actually get them to set up right. Again, we want to protect our relics, so that is an additional 15 points on top of the 10, 20, or 40 zone points. The last thing you're going to do is balance robots on the balancing stone. Similar to how you started in autonomous mode, you're going to go back to that position. You should go to your alliance-specific balancing stones and get fully balanced, and that's 20 points per robot after things come to rest at the end of the match. On to penalties. The penalties are similar this year. We have minor penalties that are 10 points and major penalties that are 40 points. You need to read the Game Manual Part 2. There's a penalty summary table to help you figure this out, and all of the details are in the previous pages. The special thing about First Tech Challenge is that penalty points get added up at the end and totaled onto the non-offending alliance's score. So again, you're not getting minus points, you're actually giving the other team positive points. So the next thing is cards. They're similar to last year. That was the first year we introduced them, but we have both yellow cards and red cards this year. Yellow starts as a warning and the ref will let you know. And again, in the penalty summary table in the game manual part 2 will tell you when yellow cards are possible. Yellow cards are additive, so similar to soccer, if you get 2 yellow cards, it forms a red card going forward throughout the day in that tournament. Red cards happen at match disqualification for various things, including egregious robot or team behavior, repeated violations, 3 or more of a rule, and multiple red cards could lead to tournament disqualification. So we did really great last year, not having to have too many of those in the state of Oregon, so let's keep that up. A notification is just that the ref will let you know at the end of your match by holding up the significant card color, and that way the audience and the team knows that they got that card and will also communicate that with you. And going into your next match, if you're holding on to a yellow card from before, the scoring system software will show it on the scoring screen. This year in Game Manual Part 2, we still have safety-specific rules, general game rules, and game-specific rules. I'm going to spend a lot of time today on game-specific rules because a lot of the safety and general game rules haven't changed too much from the past years, but we really want to know about this challenge and this Relic Recovery and what you're allowed and not allowed to do. So the first thing you should know is that the autonomous period keep-out area is totally different this year, and you're actually supposed to stay out of the opposing alliance's area for the entire autonomous period. It's not just the first 10 seconds like years past. You are protected in your area for the entire autonomous period. The next couple rules, GS3 and GS5, is all about control and possession limits of glyphs and relics. So again, you have the glyphs, the cubes, and you have the relics, the yellow people. A robot may control or possess a maximum of 2 glyphs at one time, and they can only control or possess a maximum of 1 relic at a time. So use that in your strategy going forward. The game-specific rule 4, GS4, is very specific about glyph hoarding. And it talks about if you've already successfully scored more than 20 glyphs, what you're allowed to do with the rest of the glyphs on the field. So everybody needs to take note of what's going on in there and watch the forum for any clarification going forward. GS6 and 7 are about D-scoring game elements. Make sure you read up on those. GS 8 through 11 are about blocking access or interfering with items as the robots are going throughout the game. There's a special rule about balancing stone interference, so once it's in in-game and you're in the process of balancing, you are a bit protected, so read that one in GS 12. There's also a special rule about preventing relic scoring, so that you can see that'll be a very hot spot at the end of the game. There's not much room near the relic recovery zone, and so you want to make sure you're very clear on what you're allowed to do in GS 13 as far as defense with relic scoring. GS 14 is all about relic control. Your robot is only allowed to possess 1 relic at a time, and when you're allowed to start doing the scoring into recovery is based on when you've finished your cipher or when endgame starts, like we talked about previously. The other ones is outside contact during relic recovery scoring. So if you're trying to put it into the recovery zone, they are giving allowances for playing outside the playing field walls. So read that one carefully in GS 15. And the final one, which is very interesting and you might not have thought about, GS 16 limits how you legally score a relic. You have to place or drop it into the corresponding zone. You cannot propel it with any noticeable force. So there's no launching of relics. We want to, again, we want to preserve the relics, and our goal is to put them upright if possible for maximum points. Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
That wraps up our penalties, but of course there are a lot more details. As Kathy always says, before this is a science, technology, engineering, and math program, this is fully a literacy program. So be sure to read Game Manual Part 1, includes your inspection checklist that you should be doing before each event. Game Manual Part 2, which has all the penalties and various rules, and stay up to date on the forum because it could overrule things that are in the manuals. Thanks for spending time with me today. I look forward to seeing all of the teams recover their relics in Oregon style. Let's bring Nick back. Kathy, you're not Nick.
Nick went back to California, so I'm here. I have a few more things to tell you before we get started on our Relic Recovery season. First of all, you have to be nationally registered. So we want you to go to the First Inspires website and nationally register your team. And once you've done that, you can decide whether you want to be a league team or you want to be a non-league qualifying tournament team. If you want to be a league team, get the national registration in, then you can apply for league membership starting October 15th. If you want to do non-league events, you can apply for qualifying tournaments starting November 1st. The other things I want to let you know about is that if you're in need of some financial support, Round 1 Ortop Team Support Award applications are due September 15th. If funds remain, a Round 2 applications received by September 30th will be reviewed and the remaining funds awarded. And as far as communication, I love talking to our teams, but I do it mostly by email and by my blog. Look for emails from FTC Oregon at ortop.org for the most up-to-date information. And also, I'm going to encourage our mentors and team members to sign up for our brand new technical support channel on Slack. Other than that, as Aaron said, read Game Manual 1 and Game Manual 2 and the forum, and we'll be announcing more additional events that we're going to have preseason and the start of our leagues. So have a great season, and remember your gracious professionalism.